Welcome back to Seamless Xtra as we continue to explore the latest trends and innovations in the world of digital commerce.
Hi, Matthew. Welcome to Seamless Xtra. It's a pleasure to have you join us here on our platform. How are you today?
I'm great. Nice to be with you, Micah, to talk about AI and commerce.
E-commerce and the retail industry. And just for our viewers, Matthew, I was wondering whether you can just quickly give us an introduction about yourself and your role at ALDO.
So I'm Matthieu Houle. I'm the CIO at ALDO Group. I have the broad definition of the CIO role. So I cover everything from traditional IT to data and AI, obviously, and also digital and e-commerce. So a very broad role. My background is much more of on the digital side of things, if you will. So I'm a newly named CIO 3 years ago, basically.
Okay, nice. And I think, me and you, Matthew, have been collaborating now for a few months for Seamless. And if there is one thing that's for sure, I believe it's that the AI revolution is fully underway at the ALDO Group. And, when I speak and do my research around the industry, there's definitely a lot of buzzwords at the moment. Web 3.0, AI, VR, and then obviously metaverse. Now, I'm just wondering, so the AI revolution is happening heavily at ALDO Group, and I was just going to ask, why do you think AI is the leading frontier of innovation, and what are its impact in the retail and e-commerce industry?
So I like to, when I talk about AI, I like to start with, what we see as the success of ALDO Group is still and will always be human people. And their human qualities such as empathy, creativity, and the emotion part of it. So if you think about employees in the store, or in our case, we're also a brand, so the shoe designers or the e-commerce marketing manager, they have their human qualities, and we strongly believe that this is going to be the success of ALDO Group. So when I talk about AI, what I see is a way to give them superpowers to help them do their job. So not trying to, it's not something that's going to replace them, but how can we use technology, AI, to help them focus more on their human qualities? So we like to describe AI as a friend, a little friend that we can ask questions to, and that works 24/7 and can crunch numbers. But really, it's a support to the employees and the associates that we have. So that's the way we see it. There are big areas where I think it's pretty obvious where AI is strong, but the way in the context of retailers, I see it really in 3 areas. The first one is just automation and just going faster. So we see it with Gen AI in all kinds of use cases. So again, instead of using my time as a human to do repetitive tasks, I can ask my little friend.
The mundane, boring tasks. Yeah.
Product descriptions. Obviously, it doesn't mean that AI is going to be the end product of it, but that white page when you start writing and you say, okay, you can ask your little friend. So that helps a lot with productivity. The area, it's less Gen AI, but more AI in general, or traditional machine learning. Obviously, when you look at retail, if you could predict the future of sales, it would be quite a great superpower in retail. So the ability for AI to crunch data of different sources, try to predict sales, you cannot match it. And the good news is, again, instead of using your human qualities to crunch Excel spreadsheets and stuff, ask your friend. So we're spending a lot of time in the area of demand forecasting. And so just the sheer amount of data we could feed the model on top of, usual sales and comps and stuff like that. We're able to add weather, consumer sentiment, by region, by store, by SKU.
That's a lot of segmentation that you can bring in with AI and data.
Yes, so prediction is one. Segmentation on the consumer side, also in automation. So on the website, you could do a lot of, again, personalization, crunching data, but also generating a conversation now with Gen AI. And the third part is as a creative assistant. This one is a bit more emerging. But definitely when you think about creating a store design or creating shoes or your display, marketing campaigns, there's a lot of assistance that the AI can help, Gen AI can do for the more creative people. So as you see, AI is going to be, a big transformation in retail. Super exciting.
Now, apart from what you've mentioned about AI, I was wondering, any advice, how retailers can really have a strong online operation to stay ahead of the competition?
So I would say for let's call them the retailers that are coming more from the store, physical stores,
Yes.
place. What I'd like to start with is see it as what's a differentiator. It's a big differentiator. So how can you use your stores to differentiate yourself in the experience from the pure play players? And we see a lot of pure play players now starting to think about, well, maybe I need that differentiator too, and opening actually physical stores. And the two main ones I think are first, it's a branding. You could see your store as in malls and in streets, a very nice billboard. So a lot of eyeballs, people walking by and walking in and interacting with your brand in that unmatched kind of experience. So I think the stores themselves are a big brand asset that you could use to differentiate yourself. The second one is in the era of e-commerce or digital commerce, stores can play, and that's what we do a lot at ALDO. They play a role of a e-commerce hub, if you will. So it makes it easy to go and pick up from the store, return in the store, try on. So shoes, sometimes you'd like to try them on, so you go and try them on, and then have them shipped to your home. So how can you use stores and store associates, so the P I was talking about humans, to differentiate your brand and your experience versus pure play?
Yeah, I do agree with you that at the end of the day, there's a huge rise with digital commerce, but a lot of people are still saying that you can't replicate the experience that you get in store versus online. And again, I love that you do always bring in the humanity or the people power that, okay, you can have the perfect blend between online and offline, omni-channel and all of that. But at the end of the day, you've still got your brand, you still have your people that you can use as part of your brand and your operation.
I think that's a major element of how you can differentiate from pure play players, that human factor in the experience, for sure.
So I was wondering, maybe you can talk me through your thoughts of becoming that leader that just really embraces innovation, but still embracing human power.
So I have strong sentiment about how to be an innovator, and I think it starts with, and that's the way I approach it. I'm not the IT guy. I'm a business guy, and so what that means, it's easy to say, but what that means, and when I see, obviously I'm a technologist, so AI and those kind of things, but I like to start with, what's the business outcome that you're trying to achieve? And again, sounds very easy to think, but it's a reflex with techies to go at, the shiny object. And a good example would have been, my personal opinion, NFTs and Meta, which is super interesting, but is there a real, and blockchain a bit the same? They're all very interesting and they have use cases, but is it going to help ALDO in the short run or midterm? I don't think so.
Long run.
If I think about AI now, it's obvious and it's a given, but I do this not because of the technology thinking, I do this because of the business thinking. So when I think about the human beings and how can I equip them with superpowers to better do their job, AI is that. So the first thing I think as a technologist, as a leader of technology, is to be a business leader, which means I need to know what's on the business side coming up on the technology side, so AI innovation and all this. But I need to spend a lot of time with the people, knowing the business. And it's one thing sitting behind a Teams meeting or behind a laptop. I like to go spend time in stores. I like to go spend time in the DC, so in the distribution center. I like to go sit with the people that design the shoes to understand their day-to-day kind of challenges. And often this is where you make the match between the business opportunity and the technology. I have a solution for that. And so just spending time with the people gives you a lot of ideas that are innovations that will generate business outcomes. So that's the first part of it, is to kind of be where is there a fit for that technology in the business? Where is the opportunity? The second part is you need a team and you need an IT culture that is different than I would use the traditional kind of mindset. So I come from the digital side where I was never in IT, and we were the digital cowboys. So IT is too slow, and so we're going to create a team on the side. Matt, you go lead this and build mobile application, and that so 10 years ago. And I was speaking recently to colleagues, CIO, about AI, and the first reaction was, "Oh, it's for Gen AI and all these tools." And traditional reaction was, "Oh, it's dangerous. Let's block access." As the CIO, I'm protecting you. And I said, "Hey, friends, CIOs, what's going to happen is if you do this, the same thing that happened during the digital era, marketing teams, everybody's going to
other departments
using it anyways." And so you need a different approach. At ALDO, what I've done since I'm a CIO, I've created also squads so that are aligned with business capabilities. So we don't talk about software names and stuff. This is our thing, but we talk about capabilities, so supply chain, and we have a small squad that's dedicated to solve problems for them and create opportunities with them. So this way, part of what we're doing now is we're going to give them training and the tools to understand how to give superpowers to, their partners, instead of creating just an AI team, on the side. So I think two things. One is that business to technology kind of match and opportunities. And the second one is creating a different culture and mindset in the IT team.
I think those are two really good takeaways. I think especially with your first point, like what you said, people can just jump on the wagon of, okay, technology, we have to use AI now. We have to show that we're using data a lot. But at the end of the day, for me, what really is the purpose of you using AI? Like what you said, the purpose of what's the business outcome? What is it for? Is it to get personalization correct? Is it to forecast sales? So then if that's what we want to achieve, how can we use AI and not just use AI just because everyone's doing it? Anything else you'd like to summarize for us, Matthieu, in terms of AI, or maybe where is retail digital commerce is heading to?
I think we're just at the beginning of a revolution, and with Gen AI recently, but when you combine, I think, the machine learning side of it with Gen AI together, I think we're just starting the revolution. It's super exciting, but a bit scary at the same time. So I also run cybersecurity for ALDO.
Yeah, a big topic, a different topic on now.
So maybe people in a similar role, like technology leadership, a couple of things would be, first is be the ambassador. So part of what I do a lot is give people access to different tools to try to get acquainted with their little AI friend at the executive level, at the leadership level. So that changes a lot. So be the ambassador. Don't be afraid to try stuff, and spend a lot of time thinking about how you're going to use it at your company. So you could build, so you've mentioned probably 20 different use cases, and they're pretty obvious in terms of where we could apply AI, but we definitely cannot build all of this internally. So the traditional buy versus build discussion is very important at this point, I feel. So, what are you going to be giving all of your employees as day-to-day superpowers is one thing. You probably want to buy that, but where are you going to build specific models and apps that can actually differentiate yourself from the competition? So I think that's the mindset that you need to have at this point of the beginning of a very exciting period of time that's coming.
Revolution.
Revolution.
Amazing. Well, thank you for that, Matthieu. Thank you for sharing your insights with us. No doubt the audience would have loved listening to all your points. And thank you for joining us again for Seamless Extra.
It was a pleasure.